studio. You must take people in. Hey, okay, you now you can join. You must take people in now. Are you guys going to be added now?
Hi, everyone. Can everybody hear me? You can just give me a wave if you can. Oh, nice seeing your faces. I'm just going to wait for a few guests to arrive in the meeting, and then we'll go as planned. So we'll just wait another few minutes just because we started a little late due to technical difficulties. So we'll just wait until just another 3 more minutes and then we'll join in. Start on 4:05.
So welcome everybody. Is everybody, I'm very pleased to see we've got 27 participants. So good afternoon, goeiemiddag, molweni, shalom, salam alaikum. It's really a pleasure to welcome everybody this afternoon, and especially Marchien, Timmerman, who is the reason behind this afternoon. Well, it's more than just Marchien is the reason. It's also the students, the learners, the Amy Foundation, but the catalyst and the driving force behind today was Marchien and is Marchien. So my name is Kevin Chaplin. For those who don't know me, it's wonderful to see some names that I haven't seen before. And I'm especially delighted to see that one of our longtime supporters and friends, Jim Stennett, is on. And we've got, there's Jim. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. There's Biddy, also one of our longtime supporters. There's James, and I see there's Akona, one of our learners. We've got Sesetu. We've got Sija. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Sija from the Netherlands. Marijn. We've got Anne, and we've got Theo van Leeuw there, and Theodore. Kesnia, Jacob. There's Jacob. Kesia, and then we've got a lot of our staff of Amy. We've got Megan there, we've got Michelle, we've got Afifa, we've got Tracy, young husband, who's in charge of our hospitality program. We've got Trudy in our youth skills, our assistant program manager. I see there's also a Caroline Beima, We've got Suyin, who's one of our volunteers from Belgium. There's Kubeshni, one of our speakers and longtime partners of Amy. There's Juka. There's Juka, who is also a longtime supporter of Amy and has been out to South Africa. There's Dorothea, who's going to speak today. And Jim is all the way from the US, by the way, so it's not just Netherlands and South Africa today. We've also got the US. We've got Casper there from the Netherlands. There's Metja. Hello, Metja, from the Netherlands. There we've got Megan and Siabonga, our program manager. Megan's in our youth skills program, working hard there with the team. So it really is a real privilege to welcome you to today's book launch. It's an exciting day, a culmination of a lot of hard work that has gone into this program with Marchien and her colleagues. When Marchien and Juka came to South Africa and spent time working hard, talking to the students, and it's culminated in something very exciting. And for us as Amy Foundation, it's a real pleasure to have something like this that we can present to you and to present to the world. Because as you all know, Amy Foundation is in the business of changing lives. And what the Amy Foundation does cannot be done without the support of many of you that are on the session today, and all of our supporters and donors that make it possible. So just to reinforce for those who I haven't met before, who haven't joined us before, the Amy Foundation is here to educate, develop, and empower children and youth from the challenged and vulnerable communities in Cape Town. And it's a real delight for me as the MD of the Amy Foundation when I see the impact that your support makes with these youngsters, the opportunities that they would never have had. As most of you know, we're a third world country with many, many challenges, but at the present time, the whole world has challenges. But when you see it's so sad when you see our country with over 50% of the 18 to 35s that are unemployed, over 50% of children who start grade 1 drop out of school before writing grade 12. And that's really heartbreaking. So it's organizations like the Amy Foundation that give hope and inspire the youngsters that there is a future. And that's what we try and do every day, is we try to give these youngsters a future, try and show them that nothing is impossible. And that's why we run after-school programs for the 5 to 18-year-olds in the townships. And then our youth skills program at our center is where we look after the 18 to 35-year-olds, and they can choose from hospitality to sewing and design, beauty and wellness, technical and handyman skills, retail readiness, and then entrepreneurship at the youth skills side. And in the after-school programs, it's very much music, drama, dance, sport, literacy, life skills, but with the aim of being that catalyst to give them the opportunities that they can do something with their life and finish grade 12. That's what we really want to do with the 5 to 18-year-olds. But today we're really about the youth skills program, and that's what this book launch is all about, to show you the absolute enjoyment of what these youngsters can achieve and can do. So without any further ado, before I introduce Marchien, I'm going to show you the book, because that's what's so exciting. Look at that, the culmination of all the hard work. And more than that, we got a shipment of books that arrived yesterday. So I'm delighted to be able to, and we're recording this, so history is being made. The first books have landed on the shores in Cape Town, and they'll be available all around the world. So we're hoping to get lots of sales in the Netherlands, in the US, and all over the world. So without any further ado, let's all give it a clap. Come on. I'm delighted to be able to introduce you. And well, first of all, I want to thank Marchien Timmerman from Windesheim University, who's been passionate about education and students. If you meet Marchien, you know that her passion is to really make a difference and change lives through students. And Amy Foundation is really proud to have partnered with Windesheim University in the Netherlands for many, many years. And I've had the privilege of welcoming Marchien to the Amy Foundation many times, coming and working with the students. And she's enabled me to go and talk to students at Windesheim University. And even through COVID, she enabled me to talk to the students on virtually. And I love that. So Marchien, I look forward to many more virtual classes with the students, but it's really an exciting partnership with Windesheim University. And they even, her and her colleague Jan sold bracelets for Amy Foundation, many, many bracelets. So thanks for that, Marchien and Jan. But thank you for the opportunity that bringing your students to Cape Town has brought. You've brought some wonderful students to Cape Town that have worked with us, yourself and Juka. So without any further ado, as you can see, she's a remarkable woman that just wants to support the Amy Foundation, and I know she will continue to do so. I would like Marchien to introduce the book and share with you what led to this book. So over to you, Marchien.
Can you hear me?
Yes, talk a bit louder.
Louder. Okay, I will speak a little bit louder. So better? Okay. Thanks, Kevin, for your good words. For this special moment in our collaboration, a signpost on a long road together. I will share some marks about this journey. In 2015, I visited South Africa for the first time. I met some parts of this country, this marvelous, breathtaking and complicated country. I met Kevin, I met the Amy Foundation and some others. I'm grateful for this, for that country that took care of me, invited me to join in, embraced me in a difficult time in my own life. And what a warm-hearted people. It learned me and it gave me new connections in my life. I'm grateful for the first meetings with the children in the project, their dance, moving sports, making music. They joined us in, we shared, and the contact between our eyes is as a mirror for today and tomorrow. 4 times I was in South Africa, and I stayed in Amy's Lodge, second floor of the office. Nearby downstairs, the coming and going of youth, buses, workers, cars full of bread, the smell of cooking. All from our balcony, we could see that. Shared moments in the kitchen, garden, beauty, and office. And our students when they came in a similar way. My own being present, the stay of theology students also, was inspired and fed by the present approach, not marked by doing, but by being, sharing, and going some steps together, building relationships. I stayed with the students. I helped in the kitchen, making sandwiches, share their humor, and share the silence. Lots of moments of little reflections I shared with the facilitators about what I saw, word for their work and their approach to the students. I gave them back what I saw, and they appreciated. In this ongoing relationship, the idea of the book was born. The reflections experience as a basic source for a book that enlightens the method of the youth skill movement. We choose for a table book for partners, friends. We choose the students and their story in the center of the book as diamonds in all aspects, deep and high. I didn't describe the method of the Youth Day, Year's Day. It sparkles up in the stories of the students. 2 thoughts I will share. Aspects of the present approach, being there, based in relationship, I recognized in the Year's Day, as it was in my 20 years work in deprived areas. But renewing is their encouraging, stimulating way to a stronger self-esteem of the students. It means the being there is colored by invitating, by provocative and challenging aspects in their approach and embedding, it was nice to join that in and recognize it. A challenge to rethink for our work in the drop-in center in Holland. So I'm grateful to share it and bring it further. My second thought I will share is about, I wrote in the book about the balance of giving and receiving. From the culture of giving and good hearts, who has a long history also in the Netherlands, coming to a collaboration in reciprocity, it's a long, long, long way to go to free each other and us together from all patterns of dependency and overcome inequality. In the relationship, in the received stories of the students, in my journey with others, maybe unfold new aspects, new behavior to new kind of collaboration in reciprocity. It's a way to go, step by step. It's fed in love and a grateful attitude, in trust and be seen and overcome inequality, in the receiving and staying strong together and overcome distances and problem situations. I'm grateful for this journey and look forward to new signposts on our road. Thanks to all the ones who contribute to this trip, especially the students who gave their time and shared their stories with us. I wish them especially God's blessings and all the good on their way. Thank you.
Thank you, Marchien. As you can see, she's a remarkable woman who just gets things done. And I really want to thank you, Marchien. It also now gives me great pleasure to introduce one of the students who came through the Amy Foundation programs, who did so well, and then as an alumni joined our team and has been working in the admin area of our youth skills development program for many years now. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Megan. There she is. There's a story about her in the book. You see there? So Megan, please have a chat to us about your journey.
Hi, my name is Megan. I'm the Youth Skills Development Admin Support. I matriculated in 2016. I then wasn't too sure what to do further in life. I didn't really have guidelines. So then I went out in my community, as it's always been my passion to help others and to always motivate others. So I then came across a foundation called La Bonne, where they feed the unprivileged people who can't afford food, and I also helped them with the admin. In the process, I then came across one of the Amy Foundation after school centers, which is located in Pontyville, Mimosa. I then gave up my afternoons in assisting the children with their homework, mainly their numeracy and literacy. I then joined the Youth Skills Development Program in July, which the coordinator, Liesel Solomons, from the After School Center referred me to the Youth Skills Development. I then joined as a hospitality student. I did a 3-month course with them. I then gave up my time in the office at the Amy Foundation with the Youth Skills Development Admin team. I then, the Youth Skills Development then came up with an opportunity where I can further my study. I did a 1-year learnership, which is generic management, basic admin skills. I then did that for a year. I received a stipend. With the stipend money, I was able to put food on the table, and in the process, I obtained my driver's license, code 8. I then finished the 1-year learnership in September, and October the Amy Foundation didn't want to let go of me because I basically created the position I am in today. I then went on a 3-month probation, and there from 2019 they fully employed me, and I keep on doing what I do best. So I would like to thank the Amy Foundation, the donors, the sponsors, Mr. Chapman for running the company, and my team, Ms. Hilary, and my mentors, who's Aneri, Nyabezi, Tracy, young husband, chef for Val, and then you also my team members, who is Trudy Lowe and Darcy, amazing people, Michelle. She helped me gain confidence. I'm not used to doing what I'm doing now, but she helped me help me get be more confident and being able to speak to people from different areas, countries, background, and religion. So I'd like to say thank you. Even thank you to Marchien and Duke for the lovely opportunity to be in this book. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Megan. You make us proud to be you're a role model to show what's possible, that actually nothing is impossible, and you are showing us and being a role model. So thank you to others. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to now introduce Dorothea Nagy. Am I pronouncing it right? Nagy? Nagy?
Nagy.
Nagy. Am I Dorothea?
Perfect.
Is it correct? Dorothea Nagy. She's the professor of theology and migration, missiology in the Theologische Universiteit of Amsterdam. So welcome to you, and we'd like you to say a few words on this auspicious occasion.
Thank you so much, and please allow me to enter the correct title of my contribution this afternoon in the chat box. To be able to follow.
Missiology, eh?
Right, yes, there we go. So, dear colleagues, dear all wanderers, being on a life journey, on our life's journey, following the life way step by step. Thank you, dear Marchien Timmerman, for asking me to join the conversation on this road towards righteousness, justice, sustainability, and safety. I joined the conversation as a theologian missiologist to whom bare life matters, and who is convinced that academic theology, missiology matters for real life. And from this position, I have read the booklet, and I am convinced of the project related to it as a clear form of applied missiology. You may also call it a clear example of integral mission, as the late René Padilla from Latin America, one of the fathers of applied missiology, would have called it. And there are three aspects of this applied missiology or integral mission which I would like to highlight today. And once again, I speak from my own positionality as a Christian theologian. Applied missiology usually, perhaps always, starts with Christ descending into the hell. Or differently, applied missiology begins with the recognition of the God being with us in the hell, in the death, in the sorrow, in the darkest places, in the despair, in the hopelessness. And the applied missiology of the Amy Foundation started in the darkest place of death and grief, and not being able to understand, but only to be there in the hell and discover God being with us there. And because one gets to know the hell herself, himself, and discovers God being with us there, one is not afraid anymore from the dark places of our world. One gets the courage and the call to work there, to dwell with God in the miseries of our world, yet not to preserve, but to transform those places. And that's hard work indeed. It is not surprising then that one meets and allies with people who underwent similar experiences. And in this case, the label white, Western, highly educated woman, and I look now to you, Marchien, is a misleading category because it is your life and work experiences, your knowledge of the hell through which you could meet your partners with some similar experiences, in this case, in South Africa. The second aspect of the type of the applied missiology we see in this little booklet is that it is small scale. It is personal, yet not egocentric. This type of applied missiology is never megalomaniac because it always relates to real people and real communities. Those who sinned have a name. Those who forgive and are forgiven have a name. Those who need education and protection have a name. Those who need safe transport have a name. Those who say, we have been sin, have a name. Yes, Megan. Applied missiology is always about zooming in and never losing the awareness of the whole, the complexity of the whole interrelatedness. Yet it is about zooming in order to make people feel and know that they are seen. Think of God who sees. And yes, God sees through human eyes too. And the third aspect of the applied missiology I highlight today relates to work, labor, creation. The implicit theology, missiology of the project we talk about this afternoon communicates that the human condition is senseless without humans becoming co-creators, artists, laborers, workers in a world which longs for the appearance of God's sons and daughters. The question of labor and work is one of the most challenging theological, missiological tasks of the 21st century. And as a planetary community, we need to revisit all our theories of work and how do they relate to the basic question, what does it mean to be human? The 8 people whom we met in this booklet all see work as vocational. Yet much of the hell in our world comes because of violations of the work as vocational principle. Think of unemployment, of human trafficking, of refugee camps, of holidays addicted societies. And once I start the list or making a list, we know that there is much to be done. Stone by stone, step by step. Thank you for the work well done and inspiring many of us to continue to do that what is good, together changing lives. Thank you so much.
Wow, grote danke. Ons waardeer baie wat jy sê en ons we grateful to hear those wise words. Thank you. I think Megan is clapping for you there, and I'm sure many others are clapping as well. So without any further ado, I'm going to now ask Akona to say a few words to us. Akona is also one of the students who came through our programs. He started when he was 11 years old with us. And I still remember, I've been around long enough to remember Akona as a young boy. He came through our programs. I remember him doing some life skills, some greening and environmental. He went into the Muay Thai program and he stuck with us all the way. He then also graduated from school and he became one of the first students in our hospitality program. And is a real example of what's possible. He is, when you visit the 12 Apostles Hotel in Cape Town, he is the face of them now. Guests love seeing Akona when they arrive at the hotel. He finished the program with us. He went and worked for the 12 Apostles Hotel, and he even was made Employee of the Year after a few years with the hotel, and they flew him to London. So Akona is featured in the book, and Akona, welcome. Wamkilekile. Molo Akona. Unjani? Where are you?
I'm very well, good.
Yes,
Thank you so
indeed.
much, Kevin. Thank you for welcoming me in. I'm just going to share a little bit of my journey with the Amy Foundation. It just started like 15 years ago while I was still at the primary school. So I engaged with the foundation, with the primary school, and I was so lucky enough to be part of the foundation itself because I engaged in many of the activities that they had at the foundation during that time. So since I was that person who was very curious about learning things, because I didn't know what the Amy Foundation is all about, and I was so glad enough that I had all the tools and the right people at the right time to make my dream come true. With the help of Hillary, where the lady that I met, she used to work at the Amy Foundation. I engaged with her with the hospitality programs. Also, I was part of the Muay Thai, as Kevin said, I was part of the Muay Thai kickboxing. So that's where we get to learn the specific skills and the respect and the discipline from the foundation. So I was part of the 12 Apostles students that started also at the foundation. So there were 8 of us. And I was lucky enough to be part of that 8 of the students because we got the opportunity to work because we just came straight from the high school to the working development. And they groomed us, they gave us like the hope and the willingness of how does it happen when you're at the workplaces and how to behave and all the discipline, the work. So I'm very grateful to be part of this program because this is where I got all the roots, the background from learning from the start. I'm growing up as an adult now, so I'm able to put the food on the table for my family. I'm able to say that this comes from my side because of the elements from the Amy Foundation. Thank you so much.
Special speaker, but before I do that, does anybody have a question maybe for Dorothea or for Megan or Akona at this point? We don't have to wait till the end. Does anybody have a question they would like to ask? Jim, I see Judy's with you. Hi, Jim and Judy. And I see Stacy has joined us also from the US. Wonderful. Hi, Stacy. Does anybody?
Yes.
You unmute me.
Yeah.
Anybody got a question at this point? Biddy, there's Biddy. Hi, Biddy, one of our special donors and supporters. Biddy.
Hi, thanks, Akona, for that. I just was wondering, I think maybe not the only person wondering about the latest lockdown and work at the hotel and the hotel in general. Can you tell us a little about that?
At the moment now, the hotel with the COVID regulations, they're trying to keep them to minimize things, how to work them accordingly, because not everyone is able to travel to countries. Some other countries they close. So with the work quiet, they're trying to keep us there on the ground. We have not been retrenched anyone. We're still there. We're still working very hard to follow the protocols, of course, the COVID regulations as well.
Thanks, Akona. I must say, thanks for that question, Biddy, because it's quite heart-rending to see, obviously, the 12 Apostles is part of the Red Carnation Hotel Group, which is a very special partnership that we've had for many years with the Tolman family. Bert Tolman, the Chief Executive Officer, is based in Los Angeles, and Bret personally has been a wonderful friend to me and supporter. And they own 11 hotels around the world, not just the 12 Apostles. They own Bushman's Kloof, they own Oysterbox in Durban, they own quite a few hotels in the UK, in Florida. They also own Uniworld ships, and they really are special human beings. And they've made sure that their staff don't get retrenched despite some months occupancy being near zero. But that hasn't been the same for all the other hotels. Sadly, some of our other partners, like 15 on Orange Hotel in Cape Town, closed down. Very sad. There's been others that are not even open yet, like the Cape Grace. So it's really been a tough time for hospitality and tourism. And we at the Amy Foundation have experienced that because we've tried to continue doing what we do, but our income has been significantly reduced through many partners saying, you know, I'd love to give you what I did before, but I can't. It's just impossible. So it's not easy times, but there are, like the 12 Apostles, hotels that are able to just keep going for now. Thanks for that, Biddy. Any other questions at this point?
Thanks, Akona.
Did I also add any value there, Biddy? I hope so.
Yeah, I was going to say thanks, Kevin, and especially thanks, Akona. So there you go, you did.
Yeah, it's not an easy time all over the world when you see restaurants closing, hotels closing, but I think it goes down to the heart of the owners, the heart of the people who try everything to keep the hotels going, so that when the guests come back, I met with the one and only hotel, recently, the general manager. They had a bumper month in June. Can you believe it? They had a bumper month, and then this lockdown's come, and now they're back to zero. So our hearts and prayers do need to go out to everybody around the world, because it's everywhere. Right, without any further ado, I'm very pleased to introduce you to another very special person, Kubeshni Govender, who's also been a longtime friend and supporter of the Amy Foundation and an absolute stalwart in the education field, who is just on a mission to change lives in the education sector. She's a ray of hope when things get tough out there, because that's one of the big challenges for our country. You know, when we became a new democracy, the government had so many challenges, you know, to reduce poverty, reduce unemployment, build homes, you know, from shacks to homes, to electricity, to just putting toilets in homes and in schools. You know, most children before democracy were sitting under the trees. And it hasn't been an easy time in the education sector. The legacy of apartheid still continues. And Kubeshni has been that ray of hope and light in the education arena. She's the Chief Educational Specialist at the Western Cape Education Department, and she's going to just touch on resilience in the education sector.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Molweni, namaste, and prem namaskar. For those of you who do not know the meaning of namaste, very basically it is, my soul sees your soul. So let me start by saying, Kevin and Marchien, thank you very much for inviting me to this platform this afternoon to talk about resilience in education. I'd like to firstly start by saying to Hogeschool Windesheim, Marchien Timmerman and her team there, thank you for believing in South Africa. Thank you for believing in the youth of South Africa. Thank you for believing in the Amy Foundation. And thank you for supporting the Amy Foundation. To Kevin and his team, you fill a gap that we in the basic education sector cannot take care of at the moment. And that is youth unemployment and hope for the many school leavers in this country. Unfortunately, the unemployment rate of youth at the moment is alarming. Approximately 55% of our youth, including students who have completed tertiary education are unemployed in South Africa. It is not only worrying in terms of the economy, but it is also deeply concerning in terms of our future and focus for our students and their well-being. So the Youth Skills Development Program actually wonderfully feeds into the expression of let's give hope. And what the Amy Foundation has done here, it's not only provided hope for its students, and we've heard of the story of Okona who started at age 11 with the Amy Foundation and the after-school programs, etc. But it's carried through that into giving students skills that they can use in the marketplace. Having read step by step and the stories of the students in the book, the one thing I needed to highlight this afternoon is the underlying thread that permeates every one of the stories. And that is that at Amy Foundation, they are given hope. They're given the courage to dream. More importantly, they are given voice. We heard that with Megan this afternoon as well, when she said, they taught me how to speak. Several of the students referred to the fact that they couldn't do public speaking, that they had to learn ways of engaging with people locally in terms of work and even internationally in terms of the visitors that come to the Amy Foundation. When you give voice to the voiceless, you are actually saying, not only I see you, but my soul sees you. And I cannot tell you how that gladdens my heart. Kevin has referred to our 300-odd year of apartheid and, the deep, deep woundedness that we suffer as a country. But in coming out here, Marchien, with Joche and your team, in bringing your students, you are contributing to the healing of that wound. You are contributing to a catharsis that is happening. The Amy Foundation here shows us that every person is a being of value. Building resilience in education is so important because it is through the education platform that we can build social cohesion, that we can show people what it means to live and work alongside each other without prejudice. Dorothea has spoken about her work in mixology and the fact that people who work, in understated ways are seen. God sees you. And it is so important that through education, we do this. That we firstly see each other as beings of value, that we create opportunities for our learners to engage with each other without prejudice or bias, and that we offer at the level of the school a transformational platform to build social cohesion. Unless we do that, we are not going to be able to build a society that is steeped in the values of this amazing constitution that we as South Africans have. What you have shown through the stories and through the experiences of the learners is that we need to understand each other. What comes through very clearly in terms of the relational issue is not about giving. Sorry about that. I don't know where you lost me. Yes, we're a third world country, and we have deep, deep development issues. So we do not want to be seen as hand out, bowl in hand, begging. But what you have so beautifully done through step by step is not only allowed yourselves to give, but you've also received the richness of the experiences of the learners in this process. I call it a symbiotic process, okay? There's give and take from both sides. And as much as we can learn from developed countries, there is a lot that developed countries can also learn from us about Ubuntu. And it is the spirit of Ubuntu that permeates all of these stories and permeates Marchien and Joche's interaction with the students. It permeates the work of Windesheim University and the people working there. It is important then that we show ourselves as transparent beings. It is important that when we engage with each other, especially as education, irrespective of what our agendas may be, that we are prepared to be vulnerable, that we're prepared to be open to each other, we are prepared to be open to criticism, and we're prepared to be open to learning. So we do not have that I am the expert attitude when we come into the learning organization. There is the mutual understanding and mutual respect for each other. And what you have so beautifully illustrated as well is that we need to meet people where they are. And in doing that, we give them the courage to speak. We give voice to the voiceless. The stories of the students in the book are stories that inspire. They inspire hope. They inspire other students to dare to dream beyond their own realities. Megan is a victor of an illness. She doesn't see herself as a victim. She sees herself as a victor. Busisiwe sees herself as somebody who can go on to open a chain of beauty stores. And we see how Akona has knocked at the door of the various people at the 12 apostles, and he's risen in the ranks. And I won't be surprised if pretty soon, Akona, we hear that you've become the general manager there. I see that fiery spirit in you. Yet other students are involved in their home industries. And this creates a sense of entrepreneurship as well. So in terms of the Youth Skills Development Project, Kevin, be rest assured that wonderful work is happening at the Amy Foundation in that space. COVID and the pandemic has brought with it a number of obstacles. But I want to share two stories with you of youngsters who have used the opportunities provided by COVID to also display their sense of resilience. So in Langa, which is a very large township, which is one of the oldest townships, or it is the oldest township in South Africa, and many famous people have come from Langa, including musicians, etc. During the first lockdown, The older folk, the senior citizens, were unable to get out of their homes to get supplies. 2 high school boys used their bicycles to deliver food to the aged. They picked up the food parcels at the points in which the food parcels were being handed out. They picked them up and they delivered these food parcels to the aged. Nobody prompted them to do it. They saw the need and they felt that they were young and they were energetic enough to help others. It is stories like this that gives us hope in our youth. The second is one which touched my heart. I read about it during the December holidays in the newspaper, and I've had the young man on several platforms already to speak about his experience. Out in the Southern Cape is an area called George. A young man at a high school called Parkdean Secondary was going into his matric year. And he didn't have school fees. He's being taken care of by his grandmother who collects a SASSA grant. This young man, Gustav Appels is his name, he saw the need to get himself financed to pay his grade 12 school fees. And he realized that the cemeteries were in need of grave diggers. I repeat, the cemetery there locally was in need of a grave digger or grave diggers. Gustav went and worked during the December holiday as a grave digger for those COVID casualties. And he used this money to pay his school fees for grade 12. Not only did he make himself employable, he then saw that many of the people who were being buried, they were leaving children behind. And so he approached his grandmother and asked her if he couldn't use some of the money she had to start a soup kitchen for these children who were now orphaned by COVID. And so he started his little soup kitchen. We are in the process of assisting him to register an NGO, number one. Number two, I literally danced when I heard him say that he's finally decided that he wants to go into teaching. And so I'm going to make it my mission, I told him, to get him a bursary so that he can study and go into teaching. It is these real life stories that give us hope. We provide the platform for education, but as teachers, as lecturers, as educators, as people working in the education sector, together with NGOs who support the education department, we all need to be the light bearers. We need to ignite the potential in our children and to give them the tools that will build resilience so that they can take their rightful places in society and they do not have to become SASSA grant numbers as well. And so to all of you this afternoon, my humble pranams for the work you're doing and for the lamplighters that you are, for the candle holders that you are, and to the students whose stories have been captured in step by step. May you continue to pay it forward. May you continue to be the lamplighters for others who follow your example. Kevin, Marchien, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Kobeshni, for those wise words and that message. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to near the end. We need to end off, but I'd like to allow some more questions. If there's anybody or comments or anybody who wants to say anything, now is your time. Anybody? Going, gone. I'll end off. If somebody wants to interrupt me, they can.
Yes, yes. I also would like to thank all the students who are now professionals and also the speakers, because I think the work Marchien has done with the EMA Foundation and with the support of others, well, it means a lot also for our institute. Because what I see is that because of her spirit, she also inspires our students to be more aware of that we are part and citizens of the world. So also the belonging of us to a bigger picture, it means a lot to us, because when you're in your own bubble, you only can see your own mirror, is it? And by the way, she is opening the windows to other countries. It means also we are getting influenced by her spirit also. And I think that is also what she's trying to do in our university. So the last time we had also a nice meeting with some students of the EMA Foundation who were also participating in connection to Dutch students. And I think that is a miracle. The way they can express their feelings, the way they talk to each other heart by heart. And I think it is, well, an asset to what we are doing. So I would like to thank the EMA Foundation also for participating in our program in the Netherlands.
Thank you, Mecha. What a wonderful way to end. We've got 2 minutes left. So, Mecha, that was a wonderful message. Thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get this book out far and wide. Let's share the stories that are in here. Let's everybody worldwide read about these students. And I want to thank everybody for attending today. I want to thank Marchien for bringing Duca over and for bringing all the students over, all the hard work you've been doing over the years with the students at Windesheim, at EMA Foundation, for your hard work in what you are doing in both sides, for all the people who are attending today, Casper, Jim and Judy, Dorothea, thank you for your words of wisdom in adding to this worldwide education as we all uplift our minds into what is possible, as we all share the good stories. James, Moraine, San, there's Sia, there's Duca, Anele from our foundation, Sasetu, Theo, Jacob Jan, Suyin, Caroline, Tracy, Afifa, Stacy. There's Stacy also with you and Jim and Judy in the US. Anne, Theodore, Frazana, Pumi, Kishia, Michelle, and Mecha. Thank you for spending time with us. I'm delighted that you could meet Akona and Megan. And I must just point out very quickly that Megan, Akona, was one of the lucky students who worked so hard, and he got a bursary to France, and he worked over there for 6 months, and he's even continuing practicing his French with the guests at the hotel. So it just shows you what happens when you open to the world. And we have a saying in Xhosa called ukuhamba kukubona. Do you want to all try that? Your mics are off so you can shout it out in your houses. Ukuhamba kukubona, which means travel opens a window to the world. So once we become global like we are, and we're able to now reach across the oceans, talk to students, have Zoom meetings with students meet one another, it just shows you what's possible. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We wish you all well. Thank you for your support of EMA Foundation. Let's get the book out there, and let's just keep supporting what we're trying to do with these students and the sky's the limit. Let's continue the good work and the legacy of Amy Beale, that wonderful young lady who's the reason we are here today with the Amy Foundation. Her legacy lives on. And there's of course a word, ukanyisa, which is the light. Amy was the light, and now we are all the light as we continue as the Amy Foundation to develop, educate, and empower the children and the youth from the challenged and vulnerable communities of South Africa. And we spread it throughout the world and become global citizens. Thank you, and have an Ubuntu-filled day, everybody.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Biddy. And where's Jim and Judy? Let's see. Where's Stacy, our friends? There's Casper. We can see Casper there. And Biddy, it's good to see you and John. And you both well? Excellent. Excellent.